Hey there friends, welcome back to my channel, Mystic Magic. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at what karmic cycle are you repeating. So before I introduce you to the piles, I just want to quickly go through a brief explanation of what a karmic cycle is, how you can recognize one, and so on, just so that you're really picking the pile that's meant for you, and that's so you can really have an understanding of what could be affecting your life and how to overcome that. So a karmic cycle is a repeating pattern of the same type of event, situation, emotional response, realization, or outcome, and these cycles will continue to appear until we learn the lesson that they're trying to teach us. So why does this happen? With every incarnation, our soul comes to Earth or whatever planet or galaxy with a specific mission and a number of life lessons that it wants to learn in order for its own growth and evolution. Karma is similar to the law of cause and effect, where every action has a consequence, whether positive or negative. Karma does not seek to punish or reward, but to ensure that you're reaping what you sow. Karma transcends time and space and is carried forward with us from incarnation to incarnation unless we clear it out. So often in our current lifetime, we're working through karma from a past life that has been carried forward in order to be cleared out. How can you recognize something as a karmic cycle? First, it really requires an honest assessment of the actions and situations that have taken place in your life. For example, do you find that you date the same kind of people? Maybe they're emotionally unavailable and you end up breaking up for the same reasons every time. This could be karma being carried forward from a past life or even your current life, from previous actions that you've taken, or even something that's carried ancestrally, where you may have observed your parents or caregivers in the same situation and, not knowing any better, have found yourself in the same situation as well. There's often this feeling of familiarity where you may find yourself thinking, I feel like I've been here before, or I'm tired of dealing with this situation, or why does this keep happening to me? Things like that. If we look at the situation objectively and write down key actions or events that have happened during this cycle, you may find that you can apply this plot line to many different situations in your life where multiple events seem to follow the exact same storyline but maybe involve different people at different ages and at different points in your life, but it's the same nonetheless. So of course, that's just an example of one, the dating situation, but hopefully you understand what I'm trying to get at here. This is future me coming in with another message that I forgot to mention when I originally filmed the intro, but I wanted to give this video a trigger warning. I understand that some of the messages coming through can be quite heavy and hard to hear or hard to deal with. So I just wanted to let you know that beforehand. Take as much time as you need. Don't feel like you need to watch the whole thing through if you're feeling triggered or uncomfortable, or if it brings things up for you. Click off the video. Take as much time as you need. This video will always be here waiting for you whenever you're ready to come back to it. And I just wanted to say that before we jump into the video. So how I've decided to break down this reading today is I created a little bit of a spread. So first we're going to be taking a look at what karmic cycle you're repeating. Then we'll be taking a look at practical steps and advice to break this cycle. Then we'll be looking at the outcome, or what you can expect to happen after this cycle has been broken. Then, using oracle cards, we will be looking at what you should be focusing on, some general advice, and advice for healing. So this is what we're going to be taking a look at today, you guys. I have 3 piles prepared for you to choose from. Over here on pile 1, we have this Ocean Jasper. And we also have the Prisma Visions Tarot. Over here on pile 2, we have this blue Chalcedony. And we also have the Prisma Visions Tarot. And on pile number 3, we have this mystery crystal. I actually have no idea what it is. I had received it for free as part of one of my orders, and honestly, I don't know what she is. I've had her for so long, and I've never really used her, but I felt called to pull her out today. If you think you know what this is, please let me know down below. I think it might be a type of Jasper, but I've honestly no clue. I've tried to Google it, but she's our little mystery baby. And we also have the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot as well. So feel free to pause the video if you need some more time figuring out which pile you're the most drawn towards. And then once you've chosen, you can scroll down to the description box or the pinned comment and skip ahead to your reading. A couple of quick disclaimers before we start. Tarot is just a tool that reads the current energy, and energy is always changing. So remember that you have free will and the power to create change. Keep in mind this is a general reading, so take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. Don't try to force all the messages to fit for you and your life. There could simply just be messages here that are meant for other people watching that just aren't meant for you. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hey there, pile 1. If you chose the Ocean Jasper and the Prisma Visions Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about what karmic cycle you're repeating. So, like I mentioned in the intro, first we're going to be taking a look at what karmic cycle you're repeating, and then practical steps and advice to break this cycle, the outcome of what you can expect to happen after the fact, what you should be focusing on, and then we'll get into some advice for you. So we're going to start off by taking a look at these first 3 cards, which are going to represent what karmic cycle you're repeating. So we have the 7 of Wands, we have the Sun, and wow, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So what's interesting, pile 1, is the fact that we have the Wheel of Fortune here representing part of what karmic cycle you're repeating, because the Wheel of Fortune does literally talk about karma. It can talk about fate and destiny as well. So what I'm feeling here with the 7 of Wands and the Sun is that I actually feel like you've been trying to break this cycle for a while. I feel like this is something that you've experienced throughout multiple past lives. I'm seeing specifically 2. So you could have been working on this for the last 2 incarnations that you've had. But this almost feels like it feels like resisting an ego death is what it feels like with the 7 of Wands and the Sun here. Because what's interesting is that the 7 of Wands is usually represented by someone who has just returned from battle and they're victorious, they're successful, people are celebrating. And because of all of the success and recognition, this person now has to fend themselves off and defend themselves from people who are trying to go after the crown, so to speak. And it typically shows someone standing at a bit of a vantage point, holding a wand and kind of fighting at people who are below them. And I don't mean like these people are lesser than, I just mean like spatially these people are lower. And all of these people have wands that are pointing upward and they're just fighting each other. But the 7 of Wands here, it looks like this person is just making a run for it as best as they can. And we have everything melting here in the Sun, so it's like almost this feeling of running away when things are falling apart. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, it's running away when things are falling apart and not confronting them, not dealing with it, maybe avoiding it, ignoring it, distracting yourself from it. And so what else I find interesting is that with the Seven of Wands and the Sun here, it's very masculine energy. And as I said, the sun represents our ego, our identity. And then the crystal that I chose for this group was the ocean jasper, which is related to the sacral and the heart chakras, which are both very feminine type energies. This is all about our emotions, which oftentimes conflicts with our ego, and it conflicts with maybe how we think the world should be or how we think things should be. It's so like the Seven of Wands is giving me Seven of Swords vibes. It's like preferring to stay in the shadows instead of coming into the light. Yeah, that actually makes sense, because I said this feels like resisting an ego death. It's like I feel like your soul has been trying to reach this level of enlightenment, but there's resistance to it, because so the ego's not a bad thing. I know that it can be portrayed that way a lot, but the ego serves a very important purpose, and that's to protect us and keep us safe. And it certainly can hold us back when we choose to stay put instead of choosing to grow or choosing to ascend. So I feel like there's been some kind of like underlying fear or something, again, of just like everything crumbling down, everything falling away, and like not being comfortable knowing or not being comfortable accepting reality or a situation to be what it really is instead of what you want it to be. I just heard like I'm tangled up in this mess. So let's see, I do have another tarot deck here. Let's see if we can get a little bit more information for you. So we have Leo energy with the Sun, and with the Wheel of Fortune we have the fixed signs, which would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So you may be one of those signs or have those placements, but you certainly don't have to. So, okay. Spirit guides, please, for pile number 1. What karmic cycle is pile number 1 repeating? What karmic cycle is repeating, please? Oh, I'm hearing that Michael Jackson song. Oh my god. Don't stop till you get enough, or something. I can't. It's like I can hear it, but I can't. I know the song. Oh my god. I'll put it on the screen. So that's interesting. Don't stop till you get enough. There could be an underlying fear of lack or scarcity, which as a result may lead to feelings of greed or like hoarding or collecting, hanging on to things, for fear of like losing them, or for fear of, well, if I don't take this now, like what if I need it later and then like I don't have what I need, or just this underlying fear of like not having what you need or being without, or something like that. Let's see if we can get any cards to come out here. What karmic cycle is pile number 1 repeating, spirit guides? Okay, so yeah, we have the Hangman coming out, which this is Pisces energy, and the Hanged Man does talk about enlightenment. talks about enlightenment. That's interesting. I just heard a change of heart, but that's not, I wouldn't say that's what the Hangman is usually about, but I just heard something about a change in heart. But yeah, okay, so the Hangman also can represent changing your perspective, making sacrifices. Let's see. Okay, we also have the Three of Swords. Under the deck, we have Justice. Yeah, exactly. Having the Wheel of Fortune and Justice here, it's like, I feel like your soul has been really trying to break this cycle. Yeah, it's this feeling of being stuck, this feeling of, it's like, it's this simultaneous feeling of like running away, but also being stuck. You know what this feels like? This feels like one of those dreams or nightmares where you're in a hallway or something and you're running and you're trying to run down this hall, but like you never get to the end. It feels like the hallway just continues to stretch and stretch forever. So it's like running away or running towards something, but also feeling stuck, like you're just running on the spot, is something that I'm getting. But there's definitely, with the Hangman and the Three of Swords, like a type of expansion that's been wanting to happen. It feels like a butterfly that has been ready to come out of its cocoon, but has been staying in there because it's afraid of, I don't know, a multitude of things. Maybe not finding food. Maybe it's afraid of predators. Maybe it's afraid that it won't survive or that it doesn't know what to do. It's like that's the feeling that I'm getting here. And, well, yeah, look at that. In the Hanged Man, we have the Ouroboros in the background. This, the snake that's eating itself right here, which literally represents cycles, as we have here with the Wheel of Fortune. And as well, we also have bats in this card representing the shadow, which is like what I was saying before. It's like there's a part of you that's afraid to come out into the light, maybe afraid of being seen, of really being seen for who you are. Because as I said, we have Leo energy here with the sun, and Leo's all about being in the spotlight and being seen. Leo's ruled by the sun, which is all about our identity and how we present ourselves to the world. So there could be an underlying fear of not wanting to be seen, maybe because you've been persecuted before, whether this is in this life, another life. You know, you could have been put down or bullied or, you know, made to feel wrong or weird for how you really are. So as a result, you've kind of put all of that into a box and shoved it really far down and have been trying to escape from it ever since, trying to escape from being seen, from being in the light. And it's what has kept you stuck in this repeating pattern of maybe going after things that you think you want and then either pulling away or things don't work out. And the reason why this is happening is because you're not going after things that are truly, truly aligned with you. I think you're going after things that you think will make you feel safe or secure. But because you're so disconnected from who you are authentically is why these situations fall apart or don't work out. And it's like there's almost this energy of like a fear of failing, but also a fear of succeeding too, because if you succeed, then, you know, people will see you. So it's like almost trying to play things safe, trying to like keep yourself mediocre, keep yourself small, trying to blend in, trying to just follow the crowd. But I feel like that's not you. I don't think that's your energy at all. I think that's just like a coping mechanism or like a survival mechanism, which served its purpose at one point and did help you in one point, but like the example of the butterfly that I gave, it's like I feel like now you're at a point, or you've been at a point for a while, where that's actually not helping you anymore. It's hindering you, it's holding you back. Yeah, okay, so in all of these cards here, so okay, in the, wow, look at that, oh, you can't see, but when I pulled off the Justice card, we have Strength underneath, more Leo energy. Yeah. Oh wow, we even have, there was the Hermit under that, 8, 9, 11. Okay, interesting. But so in these two cards, okay, the Three of Swords, there's this huge sword piercing through the third eye. The same with this skull. And then here in Justice, if you can see, she's blindfolded. I don't know if it will focus enough. She's blindfolded. So there's, yeah, it's like not being able to see clearly, not being able to, okay, so you may also deal with or struggle with like feeling paranoid about things, feeling, yeah, really anxious, ungrounded, feeling dizzy, feeling, oh, it's like very, it's really mental energy. It's very much like the mind is racing. It's like Knight of Swords reverse kind of energy of just like the brain going a million miles per minute. You may even find that like you breathe really rapidly or breathe shallow, like shallow breaths and things like that. And it's because this, okay, this is interesting because there's also snakes in the Wheel of Fortune as well as here in the Hanged Man. And snakes can represent the Kundalini. So I almost feel like it's like the Kundalini starts at our base, at the root chakra, and it works its way up till it reaches the crown. And then it kind of comes back down to the root. And it's this cycle of energy flowing through us. So it's like, I feel like it's blocked, like it's stopped at your third eye, and there's just this like pent up energy in that area. So yeah, you may even deal with like headaches, migraines, not sleeping well at night, because they're showing me the Nine of Swords. So this could be, okay, I'm gonna try to give like a couple scenarios. So for example, let's say you're an artist. Let's say you're a painter, okay, and that's like your passion and you love to do it, but you have fear of actually pursuing that as a career. You're afraid of people seeing your art and maybe rejecting it or thinking that it's ugly or not liking it or something like that, maybe judging you, thinking you're weird. So it's something that you do as a hobby and you do it alone and you like don't share your work with anyone, and even though it brings you a lot of joy, you decide to you're an office manager, and so you go to this job every day even though it's totally unfulfilling to you and you don't enjoy it, but it's like, well, I would rather do that and feel safe than to really put myself on the line and like expose myself and put my art out there and like wear my heart on my sleeve in that regard. It's kind of like a situation like that, or maybe feeling like you can't pursue the types of people that you want to romantically or even in terms of friends. So it's like you settle for maybe not having many connections, or you settle for connections that mirror that same energy that you have. So maybe these people aren't always fully honest with you. Maybe they don't live authentically themselves, and maybe they're struggling in that sense too, because the universe is always mirroring things back to us as a way to get our attention so that we can heal. So if any of this sounds like you or a situation that you've been in, then we're going to move forward and start to take a look at some practical steps and advice that you can take to break this cycle. So we have the Hermit. We have the Four of Cups. And we have the Two of Cups. So what I'm getting with the Hermit and the Four of Cups right away is spending time by yourself, but in a different way from what you've been doing. This is about really spending time in contemplation and self-reflection and getting to know yourself on a deep level. The Hermit really represents this journey, this inner journey that we go on, this spiral where slowly but surely we make our way deeper and deeper into the depths of who we are until we reach our core, until we reach ourselves at a soul level. And that may be terrifying for you, because if you've spent your life running away from this, of running away from the truth, I can understand how that's really terrifying. And this isn't something that just happens all at once. Like, this is definitely a journey that takes time. But the advice that's coming through is to start to be curious about finding out who it is that you really are, to spend a lot of time reflecting with the Four of Cups and the Hermit. The Hermit is ruled by Virgo, who is ruled by Mercury, which is all about thinking, analyzing. Virgo really likes to pick things apart. And I don't mean that in like a judgmental way, but it's like picking things apart as a way to, it's like they're showing me like someone putting together furniture or something. No, it's not putting together furniture. It's like taking something apart and looking at all the pieces and understanding how all the pieces work and fit together and then reassembling it. That's what they're showing me. So it's like going down into the depths of who you are and reflecting on things like, you know, if I wasn't afraid, or if there's no limitations, like what would I want to do? You know, what would I want to say? How would I want to dress? You know, what are my values? What do I really believe in? And like, am I more introverted? Am I more extroverted? Do I prefer to do these things, or do I prefer this kind of lifestyle? It's just like with the Two of Cups here, it's like really getting to know yourself, like the same way that you would learn about someone else on a first date. And, you know, you ask them all these questions like, oh, you know, like, what was your childhood like? Or like, I don't know, what hobbies do you have? Or what do you do for work? Like, what's your dream job? It's like getting to know yourself on that level and spending time really reflecting. And it's not about judging whatever answers come up, even if they feel different to what other people are doing, or it's out of the norm for the society you live in or the family that you have. It's just about being curious. There's no right or wrong. And so there's no need to judge yourself or be hard on yourself for this. Okay, I'm going to see if I could grab a couple more cards and see if any other practical advice comes through for you. Spirit guides, is there any other practical advice for pile number 1 to break this karmic cycle? Because it's like, the reason why this would help you to break this cycle is because the more you get to know yourself on a deeper and deeper level, the more comfortable you become with this more authentic version of you. And the more comfortable you become, the more you start to actually act in accordance to what feels good to you. And as you do that, you start to attract more situations that really reflect with that same energy. So there would no longer be this fear of, oh, I'm scared things aren't going to work out for me, because you would actually be pursuing something that resonates with your soul. And if you're following your heart and you're doing what feels good to you, success is inevitable. It's not to say that there won't ever be any challenges, but you'll become so much more, you'll know yourself on such a deeper level that it's like, well, okay, even if challenges do come up, like, I can handle that. You know what I mean? Like, I have all of these qualities, I have all these skills, I have all these experiences, and all of that is what's going to help me to actually overcome any obstacles that I'm facing as I'm, you know, pursuing things or people that are more aligned with me. Is there any other practical advice that wants to come through, please, for pile 1 about breaking this karmic cycle, please? Yeah, with the 2 of Cups here, it's almost like looking in the mirror, looking at yourself in the mirror and really just seeing who you are, not who you're pretending to be or who you're trying to be. Again, just like as this way of trying to feel safe, like maybe you don't let people close to you so that they can't hurt you or things like that. So maybe you've not really had very deep connections with people is something else that I'm getting. But in the Hermit card, we have the full moon in the background. So I feel like there's just so much that has been waiting to be released, so much that has been wanting to come out. And there's so much water in all of these cards, which is interesting because we don't typically see that in the Hermit card. So it's like, even with the 7 of Wands, there's a lot of water. And in the Sun, these things are melting into a liquid form. Yeah, it's like also just honoring your emotions, validating your emotions, allowing yourself to feel emotions. That's something else that has maybe been something that you've pushed down is maybe you don't like to feel emotional, or you don't like to feel angry, or you don't like to feel sad, or you don't like to feel happy or positive emotions because maybe you are afraid that when you start feeling happy or you start feeling good, that something is going to come and just ruin it, or something's going to come and then you're going to feel low again. So it's like working through your emotional body, working through your emotions, and just giving yourself permission to feel what you need to feel and to let it go. We had the 8 of Wands coming out, which does make sense with the fact that we're talking about how it feels like you're quite stuck, because the 8 of Wands is such a dynamic, like natural moving energy. It's like, in order to gain momentum, we need to get the wheels turning in the first place, right? Look at that. And under the deck, we had the 6 of Cups. Exactly. It's like, so I feel like this could either stem back from childhood, or because we are talking about karma, of course, this could be from a past life, but that's exactly what the 6 of Cups talks about. And we have the Crab here. So you could be a Cancer as well. You don't have to, but it's giving me this energy of like, you have such a hard shell because on the inside, like, you're very soft, maybe you're very sensitive or soft spoken or something like that. So you may feel like you need to kind of put up these defenses to keep yourself like protected, to keep yourself safe so you don't get your feelings hurt, which is completely understandable. Like I really do understand. But I feel like you have so much to share with the world, and that so many people would benefit from knowing who you really are. But with the 6 of Cups and the 8 of Wands, it's almost this feeling of letting the past be the past and moving forward from it, moving on from it. And of course, like, that's something that is going to take time. some situations may be easier to leave behind than others. But it's about taking slow and steady action to getting to that point. Like, this isn't just going to be like you wake up one day and you're over everything. This is something that you do a little bit at a time. And as you continue down this path, at some point you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, I didn't realize that all those baby steps that I was taking has gotten me so far. But absolutely, self-reflection and getting to know yourself on a deeper level is really what's going to help you to start gaining some momentum and some movement in your energy. And this could even be reflecting about things in the past, maybe situations that you've gone through, understanding like why that happened, like what you did that may have contributed to that, and don't feel like you need to have all the answers, because sometimes we just don't know, and that's okay. And also don't feel like this is something that you have to work through by yourself. Definitely reach out to get professional help if you need extra support. There's nothing wrong with that. We're not islands. We need support and connection from other people. So don't feel like there's anything wrong with you. So now let's take a look at what the outcome will be, or what you can expect after breaking this cycle. I think I'm going to have to shift up these cards to make this fit. So give me a minute. Okay, so let's see. We have the Seven of Pentacles. We have the Nine of Wands. And we have the Six of Cups again. Okay, part of the outcome that I'm seeing is feeling more comfortable, like in your own skin, feeling comfortable being by yourself or being alone, and not feeling lonely. Like, so if you resonate with maybe not having a lot of connections or not having deep connections with people, it could be kind of like what I was saying, where it's like maybe you're isolating yourself as a way to protect yourself so that people can't hurt your feelings, or that people can't, reject you or leave you behind or something. But it's like, I see you getting to this point where you're actually comfortable being by yourself. Not that you don't want connections, but you're like, I don't need to have 20 friends to feel good. Like, if I have a few good friends, that's amazing. And like, I don't feel lonely anymore, because I've found I have this newfound relationship with myself, and I'm not looking for other people to kind of fill that hole for me. It's like I'm more independent. I'm feeling more self-sufficient. I'm feeling like I'm actually capable of doing what it is that I want to do. And I also see you getting in touch with your inner child and healing your inner child, with the Six of Cups here again. And especially, look at this, like there's all of these lotus flowers in this pond or whatever it is. So that's like exactly what we're talking about at the beginning. It's like this enlightenment of recognizing that who you really are is enough, and who you really are is capable of making things happen, and capable of connecting with others, capable of, pursuing hobbies, or pursuing a career, or pursuing whatever it is that you actually really want to pursue. And I see someone who's really attentive and shows up for themselves every day, and like checking in with themselves too. Like, how am I feeling today? Like, what is it that I need? Do I need more rest? Do I need more movement? Do I need to have some fun? Do I need time alone? Or would I benefit from maybe hanging out with some people? It's like you're paying more attention, being more connected to the present moment, and not feeling, it's like feeling replenished, feeling less isolated, less exhausted, no longer feeling like you're doing everything on your own. So this could really, as well with the Six of Cups, you make new connections where you really relate on such a deep level. So it could be people that who have gone through a similar experience. And I don't mean in like a trauma bonding way, but like people who've also had tough experiences that have had to dig really deep and kind of pull themselves out of it, and have gone on that healing journey as well and have worked through a lot of these difficult issues. It's like they're showing me kind of like a ball going back and forth of like you helping each other, you lifting each other up and supporting each other, and like having that common ground. As well, I see that I see you feeling a lot more patient with yourself and with others, not feeling the need to want to control things so much, feeling much more comfortable going with the flow and really just surrendering. So let's see. Is there anything else, Spirit Guides? Anything else that pile 1 needs to know about what the outcome is or what they can expect after breaking this karmic cycle, please? Is there anything else pile 1 needs to know? Okay. So we have the King of Cups. Yeah, exactly. It's that like emotional intelligence. Feeling very, very stable emotionally. Because the King of Cups is, he's the last card of his suit. So kings represent complete mastery over something. So when we're talking about the cups, we're dealing with our emotions here. Ah, yes. Okay, everything's coming full circle now. We have the ocean Jasper, which is connected to our emotions, our sacral and our heart. So I see you, again, it's like being much, much more patient, not being reactive, but instead responding to situations. And where in the past you may have felt that your emotions kind of do really big up and downs, that things are, over time, it starts to stabilize, and you know, the lows aren't as low and the highs aren't as high, but you have more of a handle on your emotions. And that's not to say that like you're never going to experience like all of this joy or like great bounds of positive energy. You absolutely will. But you'll be in a position where you can actually handle feeling that way, right? Where you allow yourself to feel it in the moment, and you know what whether it's good or bad, and then moving forward from it is something that I'm getting. So the other card that came out is the Nine of Pentacles. God, I love that for you. The Nine of Pentacles is someone who is self-made. The Nine of Pentacles knows their worth, okay? This is someone who's really confident, who has a lot of self-esteem, okay, who knows their shit and just exudes this like... The Nine of Pentacles is someone who knows their place in the world, okay? And that's what I'm seeing for you. It's like you finally feel like you belong. You finally understand like how you fit into the picture, and you're feeling really confident about it. You're just like, honestly, simply put, it's just like I see you being happy, feeling really grounded and stable and secure in yourself. And I also see your money situation improving if that's something that you've struggled with. I think we spoke about like lack mentality and things like that earlier on. So if that's the case, I see that completely clearing up with the Nine of Pentacles here. The Nine of Pentacles is like being rewarded after all of this hard work that you've been putting in and enjoying those rewards. It's literally like, wow, that's really something. It's like literally reaping what you sow. You've put in so much hard work and like effort, and you haven't given up, and as a result the universe is like, okay, Here's a big blessing for you. Here's some financial reward, financial success. Here's some wealth, abundance, prosperity. You may start your own business, which ends up being really successful, or following your passions with the King of Cups and being able to sustain yourself that way, right? Like going back to that example that I gave where you were an artist, but you work as an office manager. It's like maybe you realize that your art is actually amazing and people would really connect with it. And so you start pursuing it. And as you become more successful in that, it's like you're realizing, well, it's actually safe for me to let go of this office manager job now because my art is actually really taking off and is actually becoming even more successful than this job as an office manager. And wow, look at that. On the back of the deck, we have the sun, right? Okay, happy days is the outcome for you. So isn't that just something, like talking about going full circle? We had the sun representing part of what karmic cycle you're repeating, and then we have the sun also talking about what you can expect after, but completely different meanings. Again, we were talking about feeling confident, feeling in touch with your inner child, feeling more expressive and creative and comfortable being seen, feeling comfortable being in the spotlight, comfortable being vulnerable and just sharing your thoughts, your opinions, your beliefs on things. This is so beautiful. Wow. Okay, let's start taking a look at what you should be focusing on right now. So we have allowance. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way, without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. Wow. Okay, and then we also have, look at that, delight. Oh, and it's number 19, like the sun. Wow, okay. Delight. It says, the frequency of delight supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. So what the universe and your guides want you to be focusing on right now is literally allowing yourself to feel happy, allowing yourself to have fun, allowing yourself to feel joy, even if there are things in your life that aren't going great. That doesn't mean that you're not allowed to still be happy and still experience joy. We don't have to feel one emotion at a time. We often experience a multitude of things all at the same time, and that's part of what makes life colorful. Your guides in the universe also just want you to focus on simply allowing. This is being in the flow, where you're not resisting things, you're not trying to control things to be a certain way because that's how you think they should be. It's about surrendering and just dropping your guard and going with the flow and saying, okay, universe, I trust that you're leading me to my highest good. I trust that you're leading me to people, places, and situations that are going to help me and benefit me and support me. And I'm just going to go with this current and I'm going to see where it takes me. But again, we have all this green, all these greens and oranges, again, like the sacral and the heart chakras. I'm hearing like you literally need to bring more color into your life. So I don't know if you want to switch up the decor in your house or in your room, or just start wearing different colors or like patterns and things like that. That may really help you to start shifting your energy. Okay, let's start looking at some advice for you. So we have double mission, lightworker starseed, serve the world by being you. Yeah. And we also have inner earth. You'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings. Exactly. This is like, with serve the world by being you, this is exactly what we were talking about from the beginning of really being seen, of really showing the world who you are, of allowing your light to shine. giving yourself the permission to be seen and to be heard. And of course, not everyone's going to agree with us. We're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I promise you that there's people out there who really resonate with you. And the only way to find those people is to risk being open and to showing who you really are. So you may resonate with being a light worker or a star seed. You may not take that how it resonates, but look at this. I love this so much. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. It's like what I was saying before, where it's like, of course, we're still going to have challenges in life. Even if we're on the path of healing, even if we're following our hearts and going in the right direction, we're still going to have challenges. But you're so capable of overcoming those challenges. Like, you'll survive this. And you're not just going to survive, you're going to thrive. Okay? I feel like you'll no longer be operating in surviving mode. That you're really just going to be so connected to life and so committed to enjoying yourself and to being present and to just continue down this path of discovering who we are. Because there's no end to that journey. We're always discovering more and more layers to ourselves. We're always discovering new things about ourselves, discovering just how powerful and like capable we really are. And there's a lot of new beginnings that are waiting for you on the other side of this cycle. A lot of beautiful new beginnings. And also what I'm getting with this double mission card here is that, so you may feel like you have a bigger purpose, and maybe that's something that's been like causing stress to you because maybe you feel like you're not living up to that. But what I'm getting is that with the King of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, I really feel like you're going to like start your own business or like do something that you're passionate about that will be able to sustain you financially and also bring you a lot of emotional fulfillment. And that's part of why you're here, is to do that. But as well as this healing journey that you're going on is going to inspire so many people, and it's going to give so many people hope that they can do the same thing too. So simply just by you being you and you going on the self-love journey of like, I deserve to heal for myself. Like, I deserve that for myself. And as you go down this path, like, you're going to inspire so many people and change so many people's lives, even if they never tell you. Like, I'm telling you now that you will change many people's lives simply by going on this journey and doing it for you. Let's take a look at our last two cards. These are going to represent some healing advice for you. So like practical things that you can do as part of like your healing process, your healing journey. So we have write a gratitude list. And we also have dance. Okay, so I love that. You know what? That makes sense with dance here. Because dance gets us moving. It gets our energy moving. And that's exactly what you need. That's why as well this Eight of Wands came up earlier. It's to start getting those gears turning, right? So put on your favorite music and just have a dance fest by yourself. Doesn't matter how silly you look. It doesn't matter, you know, what music you put on. None of that matters. You just do what you enjoy and have a dance party by yourself. Allow yourself to just get lost in the music, get lost in the moment, and really just connect with yourself. And I love writing gratitude lists. This definitely really helps me as well. And this can take many forms. Like, you can physically write it down, or you can just do this kind of like as a like mental activity where the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is express gratitude for having another day, express gratitude for, you know, waking up with a roof over your head, express gratitude for being able to eat breakfast, like so many things. I prefer, personally, I love to do this at the end of the day before I go to bed. I will reflect on my day from the moment that I wake up to the moment that I'm back in bed again, and I go through the whole day and I express gratitude for everything. Big things, small things, things that seem average. I express gratitude for everything, and it really just helps to elevate your vibration and bring more of this good feeling energy. So pile 1, that's everything that I'm seeing for you. Let me know in the comments how this resonated. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching, and hit the post notification bell so you never miss out on when I upload a video. I love you so, so much. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hey there, Pal 2. If you chose the Chalcedony and the Luminous Spirit Tarot deck, this is going to be a reading all about what karmic cycle you're repeating. So we are going to start off by taking a look at what karmic cycle you're repeating, and then we'll get into practical steps and advice on how to break the cycle. Then we'll see the outcome, or what you can expect to happen after breaking this cycle. And then using some oracle cards, we're going to find out what you should be focusing on and then get you some advice, okay? So I have my window open. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be too noisy. If it is, I will close it, but fingers crossed we can leave her open. So these first 3 cards are going to represent what karmic cycle you are repeating. So we have the Ace of Swords, we have the Knight of Cups, okay, and we have the King of Cups. So what I'm getting for you, Pile 2, is the karmic cycle that you're repeating is not saying what you need to say. Holding your tongue, biting your tongue, holding yourself back. You may be a people pleaser. You may have strong Libra or 7th house placements. And I'm not trying to say that all Libras are people pleasers, but Libras are so diplomatic and really seek harmony and peace that they may find themselves in situations like this where they kind of just go with the flow to keep the peace. So whether you're a Libra or not doesn't matter. It's just that kind of energy that I'm picking up on. Yeah, it's like not allowing yourself to say what you need to say. Like, especially in the moment, not being able to really communicate what's on your heart, or you may struggle with maybe speaking compassionately. Maybe you experience like emotional outbursts or things like that, where you hold yourself back from saying what you need to say. And as you continue to do that, it's like inside of you, things build up and build up and build up, and then you explode. I'm also here beating around the bush, so you may also struggle with maybe just being direct. You may try to give like a politician's answer, where you answer the question without really answering the question, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm hearing like just put on a pretty face or something like that. So maybe as a child, or you went through a certain experience where it was like it's not acceptable to show your emotions, or it's not acceptable to be anything other than pleasant. Almost like what goes on behind closed doors is completely different than how you're expected to present yourself, like, to the world. Because there's this element of being exhausted. Like, look at this. Like, this King of Cups. I get, like, the word pleasant just keeps coming to mind. Like, he just looks so pleasant. He looks calm. He looks content. You know, there's this, like, peaceful energy to him. But this Knight of Cups, I don't know. He looks tired. He looks exhausted. he's turning away from something, and it's like, oh, okay, so maybe you may feel like you lead a double life in some way, where it's like on the outside you feel like you need to act one way, but on the inside you're feeling completely different, and like either no one or not many people actually get to see or know what's going on under the surface. Because this crystal as well that you chose, the Chalcedony, it's very calming, it's very peaceful, it's connected to the throat chakra. It's very nurturing and healing. It's almost like, it's like a very maternal energy, but it's also very much kind of like a watery type energy. It soothes the emotions, the emotional body. So I actually have another tarot deck here, and I want to pull a couple more cards to see what else we can find out about this. So Spirit guides, please, for pile number 2, what karmic cycle is pile number 2 repeating, please? What else can you tell us about this karmic cycle pile 2 is repeating? So you may be a water sign or have strong placements, because we do have the Knight and the King of Cups here. So that would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. You may also just have strong 4th, 8th, or 12th house placements, but again, you don't have to. And with the Ace of Swords, we have air signs, which would be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay, so something else that I'm getting is that you may struggle between like logic and emotions. You may prefer one over the other. You may find your emotions to be confusing. You may find yourself over intellectualizing things, or trying to, like over intellectualize your emotions. Or your emotions cloud your rational mind. There's an imbalance between the mind and the emotions, because both are very important, and ideally we use them both. We use our logical mind and we use our emotional mind, our emotional body, to, discern information, to make decisions, all kinds of things. And ideally we want them to be balanced at the point where they can communicate clearly with each other. So again, like this idea of communicating, whether this is externally, not being able to communicate clearly with others or express how you're feeling, or there's like this some kind of maybe a disconnect, but it's almost feeling like, let's see, we're gonna grab more cards, but I do feel like maybe it could be your emotional body is more, is maybe a bit blocked, or like your emotions confuse you, or you don't understand what you're feeling. Maybe you're uncomfortable dealing with emotions, and so you just kind of like shove them down or ignore them or pretend they're not there, or something like that. Let's see if we can grab a couple more cards. Spirit guides, what karmic cycle is pile number 2 repeating, please? Okay, so yeah. Okay, we have the 10 of Cups. And we also have the 5 of Swords. So, yeah. Some kind of conflict around emotions or communicating. Under the deck, we have the High Priestess. Sorry if it's loud. There's some construction happening. I'm really hoping that it's not being picked up too loudly, because I would love to keep my window open. It gets really hot in here when I film. Okay, this could also be sabotaging yourself from going after something that makes you happy, or going after something that you want. Yeah, it's like, look at this Five of Swords. It's like your heart is locked up. So it could have been, especially having the High Priestess underneath the deck, this could be something like, you know, maybe when you were a kid or something like that, that you were taught like emotions are bad or it's not good to show emotions. You may have been told to stop crying a lot, or, you know, you're not supposed to be angry, or it's bad to feel that way, or you should be feeling like this. Almost being gaslighted in a sense, or being told that emotions are bad, that you shouldn't display them. Maybe being forced to keep composure. Things like that, that would have been really detrimental, because of course emotions are a natural human thing, and emotions provide us really important information about how we're feeling. So I feel like this is something that you may have struggled with when you were younger, and then as a result, as you got older or as time went on, it just became normal for you to ignore your feelings or invalidate your feelings or something like that, to the point where now maybe you can't identify or recognize what you're feeling, and you don't know how to communicate it with others because you yourself can't even identify or be able to define or explain in any way what you're feeling, because you've spent so long trying to avoid that, or spent so long feeling like that was a really bad thing. And you may even, this I don't even see this being just about like, it's not negative emotions, but emotions like anger or sadness or frustration or whatever. But I also feel like maybe this is the case with emotions that feel more positive, like happiness or joy, being excited. I feel like it's both ends of the spectrum, where in a general sense it was like, oh, we don't show that we're feeling that way, or like you're too excited, you need to calm down, or like stop being so happy, why are you so happy, like what are you smiling about. It's this like really strict emotional discipline is what I'm picking up on. So you may find it uncomfortable experiencing like any types of emotions, no matter what it is. But if it's feeling bigger, like if you're really happy or excited about something, you may kind of stop yourself and pull yourself back and be like, okay, like I shouldn't be feeling like that. Like something's probably going to go wrong anyways. Or if you're angry about something, it's like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling that way. Like I shouldn't be angry. Okay, I'm just gonna pretend I don't feel that way, and I'm gonna act like I'm you know, okay with this, even though on the inside, like, I'm not okay with this at all. It's like there's a lot of really repressed emotions that have been pushed down like quite far into the subconscious. And with the Three of Pentacles underneath, I feel like this happens around other people. It's like when you're around other people, it's like you feel like you need to compose yourself in some way, or you can't really share what you're feeling. Maybe because speaking up in the past felt detrimental to you in some way, like maybe you were punished for speaking up or expressing your needs or expressing your emotions. And so as a way to protect yourself, you may have shut yourself off from communicating how you're feeling, communicating your needs, or just altogether just kind of like shutting off your emotions and just like not even like acknowledging them is something that I'm getting. So kind of the example that's sort of coming through, so this could have been experienced as like volatile relationships, for example, because it's like this kind of energy is going to be mirrored back to you. So you may have found that you dealt with either partners or friendships or any kind of connections where maybe the person seemed, you know, like honest and kind at first, and then you didn't realize until later on where they kind of had this explosive side to them, and then they would have these emotional outbursts or something like that. Or just constantly finding yourself in situations where you feel like you can't speak up or you can't actually say what you want to say because people would dismiss you or wouldn't take you seriously or would laugh at you or something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of fear around emotions here. Yeah, it feels like maybe you weren't given a safe space to explore and communicate your own emotions. And so you may have trouble connecting with people emotionally or feeling stable in your emotions or being with people who are stable in their emotions is really what I'm picking up the most for you. So it's this cycle of like, you know, this thing is bothering me, or like, I don't agree with what this person is saying or doing, but I'm not going to speak up. And you hold on to that, and it turns into anger and resentment and bitterness, and it builds and builds and builds, and then you blow up one day. And then you have feelings of guilt, of shame, disappointment, maybe embarrassment. And then you have to go through this whole thing of, you know, maybe you apologize, maybe you don't. Maybe the other person does or doesn't apologize. Maybe it's a connection that you have to leave behind entirely, and then going through this whole thing of like, this is exactly why I don't like expressing my emotions, because it just blows up every time, and struggling to deal with how to kind of temper these emotions and deal with them in a way where you're standing up for yourself and you're communicating what you need to, but in a more grounded, stable way where you're not blowing up and feeling out of control or like having blackout rage or things like that, but just being able to calmly communicate with the other person. So I want to take a look at our next few cards, which are going to represent some practical steps and advice that you can take in order to break this cycle. So we have the Hermit. That's so interesting. In the other group, the Hermit was the first card that came up for this section as well. We also have the Page of Pentacles. And we have the Two of Cups. Oh my God. The Hermit and the Two of Cups came out in the exact same position as the last group. Wow. What I'm getting for practical steps and advice is to start getting back in touch with your emotions and getting back in touch with who you are. By taking time out to reflect and contemplate on things, of literally just starting to identify what certain feelings feel like to you when you're experiencing them. Like, okay, when I feel angry, you know, my heart beats faster, or it feels like it's pounding in my chest, and, you know, I find myself feeling very tense and like my fists are closed, and I feel like I'm starting to see red everywhere. It's like starting to identify how certain things feel to you, because having the self-awareness is what will help you in the moment when you feel like you want to explode. Having the self-awareness is what's going to help you to take things down a notch, because then you can recognize, oh, I'm starting to feel angry. So since I'm aware of the fact that I'm feeling angry, instead of doing what I usually do, which is like fall into the abyss of this emotion where it consumes me, I'm going to take a step back and create some space between myself and the situation. I'm going to use healthy ways of coping with this emotion, find healthy outlets for it, And then I'm going to return to the situation when I'm feeling more calm and grounded and in control of my emotions. And even the words that I use is what I'm getting. Because we're talking about taking practical steps here. And we have the Page of Pentacles, which is like literally about taking those first tangible, practical steps towards something. So it's like, start identifying how certain things feel to you. And also start identifying different healthy ways that you can cope with these emotions. So for example, you may take up running as something that can be very therapeutic. So it's like, you know what, I'm feeling really angry right now. I'm going to go for a run and use that as an outlet to kind of get my anger out, work through my anger. Or maybe you take up a creative pursuit, like you start painting, or you write, or you make music. Maybe you do yoga, or you find that journaling really helps. Even things like going to see a therapist or a counselor or a social worker of some sort, where you can, of course, vent, but also get professional feedback and advice as to how you can improve as well. Because the Hermit is a sage. The Hermit is full of wisdom and often represents someone older. And we have a page as well, which can represent someone who feels inexperienced. So I'm as well seeing this as like, don't hesitate to reach out to a professional that can really give you some solid advice. I understand that may be difficult, especially if you do have, trauma or issues with communicating and things like that. But I see this as something that would really, really help you a lot. And so this Two of Cups is interesting, the way that these cups are situated like that. I used the word temper before, and it's really making me think of temperance, of like where we see the energy flowing between the two cups. And so with the Two of Cups and the Page of Pentacles, it's like finding ways to really ground yourself, and finding ways to take care of your emotional body and your mental body. So your emotional health and your mental health. And having, like, I'm hearing an arsenal of tools that you can use, like healthy coping mechanisms and things like that, to help you sort through what you're feeling and what you're thinking, so that you don't have to deal with this really exhausting cycle of like holding on to things and then blowing up and then feeling this like guilt or shame, and then this kind of cycle perpetuating. Let's see, I'm going to grab a couple more cards for you here. Spirit guides, what practical steps or advice is there for pile number 2 to help them break this cycle? Too many cards coming out. Yeah, it's like I feel like you need a helping hand. Whether it's a friend or a professional, someone that you trust that you can work through these things with together. It's like, because there's an element of doing self-reflection, doing the work yourself, but there's also this element of seeking help from someone else as well, like a professional or a friend, like I said, a family member, someone you really trust, so that you're not doing everything by yourself, and so that you have that support and guidance from someone who maybe has more experience, or someone who just has a lot of compassion and can hold space for what you're going through. Because I feel like you haven't had that a lot in your life. But yeah, I feel like sometimes it's like your emotions can seem so strong that you can't even see what's in front of you. It's like it can just distort your perception on things. And something else that I'm getting, so I did talk about validating your own feelings before. I feel like a lot of times when we have emotional outbursts, it's because we feel so strongly about something, and it's like all we want is someone else to say like, yes, you're right for feeling that way. And it can feel really detrimental when we don't get that. But as well, that's the thing. It's a double-edged sword with this Ace of Swords here, because it's like on one hand, it's easy to say, you know, you don't need external validation. And it's true to some degree, but it's also important to remember that we're social creatures. It's natural for us to value the opinions of others and really take that to heart. And so if you're not getting that external validation from other people, it's even more important that you start validating your own feelings. Even if other people are trying to make you seem like you're being dramatic or trying to gaslight you, or just don't see things from your perspective, or aren't capable of giving that to you because they too have their own issues and conflicts with their emotional body, you need to start validating your own feelings and literally telling yourself, it's okay that I'm feeling angry right now. Anger is a natural emotion and a natural response to what I'm experiencing or what I just went through, and there's nothing wrong with feeling angry. It's okay for me to feel angry. And just really validating yourself, and also just knowing that you don't have to hold on to that emotion, that it's okay to let it go and to move forward from it. Of course, in your own time. It takes time for us to process our emotions, and some situations can be really traumatic and some can be much smaller. But all the same, the emotion needs to be processed, and it needs to be felt, and it needs to be released. Okay, let's see. Spirit guides, please. Pile 2. Is there any other practical? Thank you. So we have the 10 of Swords. What is the practical advice? And we also have the 7 of Wands. Yeah, it's like, stop fighting it. We have the 2 of Pentacles on the back of the deck. Yeah, it's like, stop fighting it is what I'm getting. Like, it can feel so hard to surrender and to let go. You may be in this kind of like fight or flight type energy, which is a natural response to traumatic events and things like that. And it's almost like this energy of fighting it or resisting is what's keeping you feeling stuck in this like really, really painful cycle. Like, I can feel how exhausting this is. Yeah, I can really feel how exhausting this is. I'm hearing let love in. So it could be that you that you do have some people in your life that really support you and love you, and I think they really want to help you or be there for you in some way. And you may be a little bit closed off, but that type of connection could be exactly what you need in order to feel supported or feel validated, or to just have someone who tells you like, you're not crazy for feeling that way, or like, that's a totally normal thing to feel. And with the 2 of Pentacles on the back of the deck, it's like, there needs to be a balance created between like the emotional and the mental. Of really just, I'm so surprised Temperance hasn't come out, because I keep being taken there of like, because the 2 of Pentacles can talk about really chaotic energy, really busy energy, a lot going on, and like juggling things. And I just feel like this crystal, it's like it just needs to be like really just taken down and like tempered. Yeah, I just split the deck again and we got the 2 of Cups. And I just heard you're not your own enemy. You're not your own enemy is what I'm hearing. So it's almost like it's time to be friends with yourself in a way. You know, like, talk to yourself how you would talk to a friend. Validate yourself in that same way. Like, if a friend came to you saying like, ugh, like, I feel this way about this situation, but like, I know I shouldn't even be feeling like that. You know, what would you tell that friend. You would probably support them and validate them and be like, no, like it totally makes sense that you're feeling that way. And like, it's just, yeah, I don't know, something about like being your own friend, being kinder to yourself, like reaching out to yourself and asking yourself how you can support you better. You know, like literally have a conversation with yourself and be like, okay, what do you need? Like, do you think therapy would help? Or like maybe we could try doing yoga as a way to kind of calm the emotions when we're feeling angry. Oh my God, look at that. I literally just split it and we have temperance. Exactly. I just feel like there's a lot that hasn't been worked through that's kind of causing you to feel these really big emotions coming out, maybe out of nowhere sometimes. And giving them the attention that they need, both in your own time and also with someone that you trust, is really going to help you to overcome them and really, really balance out this energy, really calm things down so that you feel peace and not this like raging storm inside of you, because that's what it feels like. So now I want to see what the outcome would be, or like what you could expect things to be like after you break this cycle. So we have the Eight of Pentacles, we have the Four of Swords, and we have the Six of Wands. This is beautiful. Give me a minute, I'm going to adjust these cards so we can see everything here. So what I see for you after breaking this cycle is a lot of harmony. We have the numbers 4, 6, and 8, and even numbers are, they carry very balanced and harmonious frequencies. The Four of Swords talks about a period of healing, a period of rest, feeling calm. It's really this idea of inner peace, and it's like, I love that on this card there's this like oyster on it with a pearl inside, and it's like, I feel like you'll reach this stage where you're ready to open up, or you feel comfortable opening up, that you're not just like clammed shut all the time and feeling like you need to hold back. It's like you're comfortable with being open and like being seen. I just saw 4444 on the timer, so you're being so protected and looked after. You're really being surrounded by your spiritual team. And even when you feel really alone or misunderstood, or you're struggling, like your spiritual team and the universe is literally right there with you, okay? But with 4444 as well, it tells me that you're gonna have a really strong foundation, which I feel like is something that maybe you've never had before. So I see you being really secure within yourself, feeling really stable emotionally, not really having these outbursts anymore, feeling much more calm, feeling composed, but not in this way that we were talking about at the beginning, where it's this fake composure. It's like a mask of composure, but on the inside you're feeling completely different. With the Four of Swords here, this is like achieving inner peace, achieving this like peaceful silence in your mind and in your heart of stillness, of there not being so many ups and downs. And with the Eight of Pentacles and the Six of Wands, this is so fucking beautiful. This is like literal success and achievement for all the hard work that you've been doing. So if you've been sitting here thinking like, there's no way that I could ever do this, I beg to differ, because we literally have the Six of Wands. Like, I'm not just trying to hype you up, I'm literally reading what I'm seeing, and you're going to be really successful. If there's some kind of like career or project or a creative hobby, or just like something that you find that you're passionate about, that you've always wanted to do, after breaking this cycle, I see you having the space and like the emotional and mental capacity to actually pursue this and turn it into something really, really successful and long lasting. It's like you're literally climbing the ladder of success here. And I am even seeing like awards and things like that, or like being recognized for things. Like I'm seeing like an event and there's a bunch of people in the crowd, and then it's like your name is called and you won, and you like go up on stage and like have to like do a little speech or something like that. But it's like you will be in the position to build and create whatever it is that you want to build or create, because you've achieved this sense of like inner peace or calmness that you just feel stable. You don't feel erratic anymore. Like you feel like you can think clearly. You feel like you can actually make a plan, and you're more able to follow through than you ever have before, is what I'm getting here. Let's see if we can grab a couple more cards on this. Spirit guides, what else can you tell us about the outcome after pile 2 breaks this karmic cycle, please? Okay, look at that. We have the King of Pentacles. Literally, the King of Pentacles represents ultimate stability, okay? Like, the king is the master of the suit, and we're talking about pentacles here, which is earth energy. It's grounded, it's stable, it's reliable, it's tangible. So this is something that is on the other side waiting for you. And if this is about a business or something like that, like I was just talking about, I'm seeing like major success here. And I'm talking about stability, not just like this is financial stability, emotional stability, mental stability, feeling healthier, sleeping better at night. Can we get another card, please? What can pile 2 expect as the outcome? Or okay. So we, look at that. We had the 2 of Pentacles coming out, but this time in reverse. That's exactly what I was saying. It's like tempering, a calming. You know, when you're playing an instrument or something, or you're using a sound bowl and you hit it and the sound vibrates and it's very strong, and then slowly it starts to get more quiet until it just completely dissipates. It's like that's the energy that's coming through. Look at that. Shut the fuck up. We have the 6 of Wands on the back. Look, I can't make this shit up, you guys. Do you see that? Like literally so much success and validation. You will have swarms of people like literally supporting you and validating you and saying that like what you're doing is amazing. And whether you choose to talk about your story or not, like the people who know will know, and they're gonna be so fucking proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I love this outcome for you, and I really hope this gives you a sense of hope and a sense of peace, like knowing that you're totally capable of this, and like knowing what's on the other side. Because sometimes it's the unknown that really scares us and can make us stay in situations that we're really unhappy in, but at the same time it's like, well, at least it's familiar, like at least I know what to expect, rather than leaving something familiar into the unknown can be terrifying. So I really hope that this brings you some peace, because I'm for real seeing so much stability, and like I feel like you'll just be like standing taller. It's like I'm seeing someone who's kind of like hunched over, and like, you know, the kind of body language when people try to make themselves small or unseen. It's like you're gonna go from that into someone who like has their back straightened out, has their shoulders dropped, you know, not that they're puffing out their chest in like a cocky way, but just like someone who's standing tall and has their chin up and is like, you know what? All that really hard shit that I went through made me into this super strong and wise person that I am today. And like, now I know what I'm made of. Now I know what I'm capable of. And like, I've built this all myself. Like, I did this. Like, that's what I keep hearing. It's like, I did that. There's so much success. I can't. I love this. I love this so much. Okay, let's start taking a look at your oracle cards. So these will represent what you should be focusing on. We have Tantric Journey. The frequency of Tantric Journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. Okay, that actually makes sense. That actually makes sense. Okay. And then look at that. We have healing, 29. The frequency of healing supports our intrinsic ability to restore our health and wholeness by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses and harmonizing everything accordingly. Beautiful. That's like what I was saying. This idea of how emotions are information, and that it's really important for us to connect to that and not to judge it or criticize it, like, oh, why am I feeling like that? I shouldn't be feeling like that, you know? It's not a nice feeling to feel jealous or to feel envy or to feel anger. You're right, it is uncomfortable to feel, but it's giving you really important information. It's bringing this to your attention so that you can heal it. And with the Tantric Journey here, because we even had the High Priestess on the back of the deck when we were looking at this top row, so it's like, again, helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. So, and that's also like what I was saying with, it's like there's an element of you needing to do this alone, but also an element of you needing to collaborate with someone else, get together with someone else who will help you during this process. It's exactly it. This idea about reaching a state of wholeness. And that's not to say that, like, if you don't break this cycle that you're not whole. Like, you're always whole. But it's this idea of things being imbalanced rather than being really imbalanced and out of whack. Like, bringing things back to their equilibrium and feeling that state of wholeness and health of, like, of completion, of being like, yeah, I did that. I overcame that. I accomplished that. I'm making progress on that. Look how far I've come. Look at all the things that I've achieved. Look what I can do when I put my mind to it and really put myself first and focus on myself. Focus on healing myself and taking care of myself so that I'm better connected to myself and my truth. And also I'm in a better position to really connect to people who are good for me and who really vibe with me. Because this Tantric Journey card, I'm not necessarily looking at it in like a sensual or a sexual way. I'm looking at this more in terms of like intimacy and being able to be vulnerable, being able to share thoughts and emotions with people, with friends, with family, with the romantic partner, and just putting love and truth in everything that you do. So you're also being called to work on your health in like a quite literal sense of, oh, I thought that said health, not healing. Oh, it says health in the card though. Okay, but that really caught my attention. So yeah, and we were talking about practical, okay. So you're also being really called to focus on your health as well at this time. So like we were speaking about earlier, this could be like, so taking care of your physical needs. Do you need to exercise? Do you need more movement in your life? Do you need time to rest your body? Taking care of your emotional health, like journaling about your feelings, allowing yourself to cry when you need to cry. Taking care of your mental health. Again, by journaling, meditating, doing lots of self-care, things like that. It's really, really coming up for you. So some advice. We have I Remember, Soul Plan, the Fated Life versus the Destiny Life. And we have Empathic Starseed, Energetic Sovereignty, Absorbing What's Not Yours. So that's interesting. So you may be empathic. You may pick up on other people's energy and you may find that you get into these moods or you start feeling things that you don't understand why you're feeling them. And it could just be that you're literally just picking up other people's energy. Or if you have emotional outbursts, then you're like, I don't even know where this is coming from. Some of it may not even be yours, in which case, do take care in protecting your energy. Consistently cleanse your energy, either by visualization. You can picture a white light shining down on you, clearing out energy from your aura. You could take a salt bath, you could use crystals, you could use sage, incense, things like that. But again, it's about being able to have the space where you can have time to yourself to really reflect on what you're feeling and to reflect on like, okay, is this, something from my childhood that's just coming up all of a sudden? Or is this happening because of a situation that I just went through? Is this happening because I'm picking up other people's energy? And it's also remembering, so the fated life versus the destiny life. Fate is what we're born into. Destiny is what we're set out to attain, what we're set out to achieve, a certain point that we're meant to reach. And it's like discerning between the two and remembering that even though you may feel really stuck and you may feel really hopeless and helpless sometimes, that you absolutely have everything in you to work through this and turn this around for yourself, because you really do deserve it. You deserve to go on this journey of healing. You deserve to be in a state of peace and happiness and contentment, to be able to express yourself freely. And as stuck as you may feel, remember that you always have free will and you can always choose to do things differently. Even though it may feel really difficult and like not natural, you always have that choice. You don't have to be bound by fate. You don't have to be bound by circumstances that you were brought into or grew up with, things that may have been out of your control. You can choose something better for yourself, and that choice is always there waiting for you for whenever you're ready to do that. We're going to take a look at our last two cards now, and these are going to represent some like practical healing advice for you. So we have beauty ritual. Yeah, again, it's that idea of self-care and like pampering yourself as well, because that's actually something that I don't like. Is the term self-care has become really trendy and really popular, which is great, but self-care isn't just about doing a face mask and taking a bubble bath. Those things serve their purpose and can be really helpful. But at the same time, if we're not dealing with what's actually going on beneath the surface, it doesn't matter how many face masks you do, is kind of the point that I'm getting. So what I'm seeing for you is a combination of both. Like clearly, we've been talking about this whole time of dealing what's underneath the surface, but it's also important to pamper yourself as well, to find ways to relax, where you can just create a really peaceful, tranquil moment for yourself, going to the spa, getting your nails done, getting a haircut, getting a massage, whatever pampering looks like to you, just to create these feelings of inner peace and stability for you, just to really take care of yourself and like treat yourself, because you deserve to be treated. And then we also have music. Okay, so again, music could be really helpful, whether you make your own music or whether you just really love to listen to music. Music can be really, really healing for you. So like if you're sad, listen to sad songs, like allow yourself to feel that way. Allow yourself to cry. You can also use music as a way to shift your energy as well. So if you're feeling sad and you've kind of you've had a cry about it, and then you're like, okay, I don't really want to be stuck on this feeling anymore. Put on your favorite song, listen to your favorite band, put on something that makes you happy, and just allow the music to shift your energy. This could even talk about sound healing. Look into solfeggio frequencies. I'll put the name up on the screen. It's something that I've been doing for a while now, and I really love it. It helps me a lot. So I'll put it up on the screen for you, and you can do some research into it. It's basically sound healing. And I think that would be really beneficial for you as well. So pile 2, that's everything that I'm seeing for you. Let me know in the comments how this resonated for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching, and hit the post notification bell so you never miss out on when I upload a video. I love you so, so much. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Hey there, pile 3. If you chose the Mystery Crystal and the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about what karmic cycle you're repeating. So I do have my window open. I'm hoping it's not going to be too loud, but if it is, then I will go shut it. So first we're going to be taking a look at what karmic cycle you're repeating, and then we'll be getting into practical steps and advice to break the cycle, and then we'll take a look at the outcome or what you can expect after breaking the cycle. And then using oracle cards, we'll see what you should be focusing on, and then getting into some advice for you. So let's begin by taking a look at these 3 cards, which are going to represent the karmic cycle that you're repeating. So we have Death, we have the Devil, and we also have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. Please don't be scared the fact that we have Death and the Devil here. I know those are the 2 like most feared cards in tarot. Don't be afraid, okay? We're gonna get into it. So there's something about avoidance here, pile 3, like avoiding the inevitable, or avoiding like escapism, or this could as well be a fear of being left behind, or a feeling of having everything taken away from you, like strong feelings of abandonment. You may deal with things like insecurity, lack mindset, scarcity mindset, feeling like there's never enough, or feeling like you don't have your needs being met, feeling like you're not equipped. It's this, it's kind of like operating in survival mode. Sorry for the noise, there's some construction happening. I'm trying to take pauses when it happens so that I can cut that audio out. I really hope it's not coming through too loudly. It's like there's a simultaneous fear of staying where you are, or being stuck here forever is kind of what I'm hearing, but also fearing changing, or like moving into something else as well. So it's like, you know, the like, should I stay or should I go? It's like that, but being afraid of both options. It's like, well, I don't want to continue being stuck where I'm at because it's not that great, but I'm also feeling quite afraid of making any changes, and like fearing the unknown, fearing what may come after that, and just overall feeling unstable in some way. It's like, this is also giving me like Tower in reverse energy of, oh, okay, I see. It's like resisting change, resisting like doing what you know would be best for you. Because with the other 2 groups, I kind of had this feeling that like the energy was kind of like, you may not fully understand why you're like in this situation or experiencing these things, but I almost feel like for you, it's like, you know, or you know better, or at the very least, it's like, you know that certain things aren't good for you, or certain things aren't helping you, or maybe you've identified some ways of making things better, but then kind of like, because you're afraid of making those changes, it's like almost ignoring the fact that you know certain things that would improve your life or improve your well-being. but kind of trying to ignore it or trying to forget that you ever thought about that because you're afraid of making those changes. Let's see, I have another tarot deck here. I want to grab a couple more cards to see what this is about. So Spirit Guides, please, for pile number 3, can you please elaborate on what karmic cycle pile 3 is repeating? This could even be like not being able to see that you have more tools and resources available to you than you think you do is something else that I'm getting. What karmic cycle is pile 3 repeating? Okay, wow. So we have the 9 of Cups coming out. Okay. Let's get another card. One more card, please. What karmic cycle is pile 3 repeating, please? Okay, we also have the Wheel of Fortune, which literally talks about karma. Okay. On the back of the deck, look at that. We do have the Tower. Wow. Okay, I was feeling that. I was feeling that hard before. Okay, what's going on? There's this feeling of denial of like, okay, I think I see. Yeah, there's this feeling of denial of things aren't as bad as they seem, or like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, or something like that. I feel like there may be struggles with addiction here. And addiction can take any form. It does not have to just be like drugs or alcohol. We can be addicted to anything. You could be addicted to food. You could be addicted to sex, gambling, overindulgence of any kind. And I see that with the Devil and the 9 of Cups. It's like this energy of doing what you want, but not in a constructive way, or not in a way that actually benefits you. It's kind of like this feeling of getting a quick fix so that I don't have to look deeper as to like either what's causing this, or I don't have to look deeper into, you know, maybe some feelings that I have that I'm afraid to go there. It's like escapism, kind of. Oh, and I just remembered when I was preparing the cards for your group, I heard clear as day, you should be sleeping. You should be sleeping. And I just kept hearing it over and over again. So I don't know if that's something that you've been saying to yourself. I don't know if you've had issues with sleeping, if you deal with insomnia, if you deal with nightmares, or you just don't sleep at night, or maybe these kinds of behaviors come up at nighttime and it's like you're telling yourself that like I should be sleeping right now, but I'm kind of indulging myself in something. This could even be like, just to give more examples, like this could even be feeling addicted to social media or to technology or to playing video games. Like there's so many different things. It's going to be different for everyone. So, but it's just this idea of using something else to try to cover up an underlying feeling or issue or problem that you don't want to deal with. It's kind of like, oh, I don't want to open that can of worms, or like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to pretend that it doesn't exist. And I'm going to do what I can to get by. And no matter what this is, like my heart really goes out to you. I understand that feeling. And we haven't even gone to this part in the reading, but I just want you to know that there's tons of professional support out there that can help you. You know, you shouldn't feel like you need to do all of this on your own. And If you don't have people in your life that you can trust, that can support you in the way that you need to be, I really encourage you and support you to reach out to a professional and gain support that way, because you really deserve it. Did I say self-sabotage for this group? I don't know if I said that in another group or if it was this one, but I'm getting that kind of energy again too, of maybe like wanting to really pursue something here with the Nine of Cups, but then you know, maybe this addiction or this distraction that you use kind of gets in the way of you trying to pursue that or achieve that or obtain that in some way. But with the Tower here, there's definitely, with the Tower and the Devil, there's definitely not a clear perspective about what's going on. It's like, because the Tower talks about the veil of illusion breaking down, and the Devil talks about, I mean, many things, but one thing that the Devil can talk about is being in a state of fear, being disillusioned. You know, think about how irrational fear can make us feel. And I feel like that's kind of the situation that you may have been in for a while. And there's this idea of like feeling the need to preserve this image, because if it were to come apart, then it's like the truth would be exposed, or like you would be exposed, you would be vulnerable or something like that. So this could be something that people don't even know about. This could be something that you're really going through on your own. But I do get this feeling, it's like there's still this underlying feeling of like knowing all of this and having this feeling of like, I do want better for myself. Like I do want better for myself. I know I deserve better. I know that maybe what I'm doing isn't the healthiest. Maybe what I'm doing isn't helping me. Or maybe it's really bad for me. And I know that. And I don't want to be like this forever, or I don't want to do this forever, but I struggle to identify how I can actually break free. And so I feel like it's creating some resistance for you, where it's like you want the Tower to come crumbling down so you can stop pretending, but at the same time there's like a lot of fear about having this Tower come crumbling down as well, which I completely understand. I really do. We also have the Nine of Pentacles underneath the Tower. I also really feel like this is a super like individual private journey in a sense. Like the other two groups kind of dealt with other people as well, and I feel like with this group it's kind of, not that it's not about other people, but I think that this more so just has to do with your own fears and mentality. Of course, like a lot of these things we pick it up from other people. We learn these things through other people, or we go through experiences that in ways force us to cope and deal with things in not the most healthy way if we didn't grow up given like the tools and the resources to cope and deal with things in a healthy way. I understand that that's the reality for a lot of people, but I'm not really picking up a lot of external energy. It feels more focused on you. So what I feel like this cycle is, this karmic cycle that you're repeating, is it's kind of like dancing around the problem, dancing around the issue, the underlying reason, and kind of doing anything that you can to avoid it. And of course, avoidance only keeps us stuck in this loop. It keeps us stuck in that cycle. And the moment that we stop avoiding it and we start to confront it and deal with it a little bit at a time is when we start to gain our power back. Because at a certain point, it's like the more you do this dance, it's like the more you're giving your power away. And the more that you give the situation control over you rather than you being in control of the situation. But the more that you confront it and the more that you start to look beneath the surface as to like what's causing me to feel this way, or why am I doing this, the more that you start to unbind yourself from these chains that you feel constrained in. And again, like, I just want to say, like, don't feel like you need to do all of this alone. If there's a lot to unpack here, absolutely please get additional support from professionals, from therapists, counselors, mental health professionals, whatever it is. You don't have to go through all this alone, and it can actually be quite traumatic looking into past experiences like this. So just know that there's a lot of support and resources out there, and a lot of people who want to help you. And I'm also sending you lots of love as well. But that's what I really feel like is this cycle that's being brought up. Let's take a look at these next 3 cards, which are going to represent some practical steps and advice for you to take to break this cycle. So we have the Emperor. Yeah. We have the Ace of Pentacles. And we have the Queen of Wands. Yes, exactly. This is... Okay, with the Emperor and the Queen of Wands here, this is exactly what I was talking about when I said starting to gain your power back. That's what the Emperor and the Queen of Wands is like taking control of the situation and recognizing that, okay, so what I'm being encouraged to say is to recognize that you're not a victim of your circumstances. And I don't want that to sound insensitive or invalidate anyone's experiences. And I really hope it doesn't come across that way. But what I mean is that while it's true you may have been in situations where you had your power taken away from you, know that you are always capable of calling your power back to you. Know that you always have the ability to step back into your power and take control of the situation, even if it feels like you're not in control at all. Both the Emperor and the Queen of Wands talk about unshakable confidence, this feeling of know thyself, of knowing your power, recognizing your power, recognizing your worth. Here with the Nine of Pentacles, that was under the Tower. And starting to see the light that's been within you all along, that you may feel like you haven't seen in a really long time. You may feel like your light has been put out, it's been dampened, it's been covered up, it's been blocked. But it's always there, and it never goes out. It's always there. It may be buried, but it's still there. And it's like really just coming back to the core of who you are. And with the Ace of Pentacles here, it's like accepting help from others and also doing things differently this time. Because the Ace of Pentacles, aces represent opportunities. It's not always promised to us, but there's an opportunity that presents itself. And often we need to act on that opportunity in order to fully manifest it. But the Ace of Pentacles is earth energy. This is something tangible. So it's like literally doing something different this time. So it's like, let's say one of your coping mechanisms when you're stressed is I'm just gonna go on social media, and you'll scroll on social media for like hours, just kind of distracting yourself and avoiding the situation that made you stressed out to begin with. So it's like, instead of giving your power away and kind of like succumbing to social media for hours, it's like, instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for a walk outside, and when I get back I'm gonna do a little bit of yoga, and then I'm gonna have a really nice shower as like a healthy coping mechanism to dealing with some stress. Or I'm feeling really angry and I have all this pent up energy. Instead of maybe turning to my vices, instead I'm gonna go work out and kind of blow off some steam that way. It's like doing things differently this time, doing things from a place of empowerment, and not feeling out of control. Because the Emperor the Emperor is like the epitome of being in control, of having a really strong and stable foundation. It's like you see all these like reds and yellows. You would really benefit from working on your root and your solar plexus chakras like really, really strongly. So you can listen to guided meditations for those chakras, or singing bowls for those chakras. You could also use crystals as well. So for the root chakra, you can use black tourmaline, you could use red jasper, smoky quartz, obsidian, moonstone, bloodstone. I'm like looking around my room to see what else I have. And for your solar plexus, you could use tiger's eye, pyrite, sunstone, things like that. I think it will really, really help you work through some of these blockages around your root and your solar plexus. And this is really going to help you not eliminate fear, because I don't think that's realistic. Fear is a natural response to things, and it's actually necessary for our survival that we feel fear. But it's like eliminating fears that aren't really serving you and helping you to feel more in control, helping you to feel more grounded and stable within yourself. I want to grab a couple more cards for you. Spirit guides, what other practical advice or practical steps can pile number 3 take in order to break this karmic cycle that they're repeating, please? How can pile 3 break this cycle? What are practical steps, please? Practical advice for pile 3. Ooh. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords. This is 2 cards. I just want to get one more. One more card. What practical steps or advice is there for pile 3 and breaking this karmic cycle, please? So actually I do want to say, so this could be something that you grew up watching other people go through, like maybe people in your family or just people that you grew up around, friends, something like that, that just maybe never really dealt with emotions or dealt with problems, and instead just tried to find ways to, it's like putting a band-aid on a burst water pipe is kind of the visual that I'm getting, where it's like trying to do what you can to like bandage it up, but you know, putting a band-aid on a broken water pipe isn't going to stop the leaking. So as a result, you may not have learned how to actually deal with your emotions properly or deal with difficult situations. You may not have learned or been taught how to cope with things in a healthy way. That's what I'm feeling for the most part. That's something that wanted to come through. Oh, okay, no, not that one. So spirit guides, please, can we get one more card? Okay, so I'm not going to take these cards, but we have Justice that came out, and we also had the Ace of Pentacles showing itself again, but I do just want one card. One card, please, spirit guides. Pile 3, practical steps that pile 3 can take to, okay, thank you, break this cycle. Okay, so we have the Emperor again. Yeah, it's okay. On the back of the deck, we have the Magician. Didn't I? Oh my God, I said that at the beginning. I said it's like, with the King of Pentacles reversed, like not being able to see that you have a lot more tools or resources available to you. And that's exactly the Magician. The Magician literally has everything that he needs. The Magician is always shown with all 4 elements: earth, air, water, fire. And the Magician is a master manipulator of energy, and utilizing these energies and working them and directing them in a way to manifest and bring in what he so desires. And I don't want you, the word manipulate, I'm not using that in a negative sense. I'm literally talking about manipulating and like working energy. But so we have the Page of Swords and the Emperor again. So with the Page of Swords, I'm definitely feeling like some of the practical advice is being able to talk about it, right? Like how we talked about with like reaching out to a therapist or a counselor or a professional of some sort. Really being able to communicate what you're going through and seeking support from someone who is stable themselves. Like the Emperor is like a master. He's kind of the pinnacle. He's a real authority on things. And so being able to talk to someone who really knows what they're talking about, someone that can really give you solid advice as to how to work through certain things or how to use healthier coping mechanisms, how to heal the specific wounds and things that you've gone through. But really what I'm seeing the most here, having the Emperor come up twice and having the Magician on the back of the deck, is you need to be the one to make this first move. This cycle doesn't end unless you choose to break it, which can sound very daunting, but you're a lot more powerful than you know. You're a lot more powerful than you think you are. We have the Emperor twice, and we have the Queen of Wands, and we have the Magician. And also, I would just like to say, like, you're being so looked after and watched over in the spiritual realm. Like, I don't know. Let me hold these cards up to you. Do you see all these extra eyes that we have? We have this huge one here on the Magician. There's this huge one here on the Emperor and another one over his third eye. Like, you are really being watched over. Okay, you're not alone at all. But it's like, you know, the magician represents the conscious mind and masculine energy and directing this energy somewhere, versus the High Priestess, for example, which represents the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, and it represents feminine energy, and it talks about being in a state of flow and receiving. So with all this masculine energy here, even with the Queen of Wands, even though she's represented as female, the Suit of Wands is masculine. So this is all about you taking that initiative, you taking those first steps, and, you know, like reaching out to a professional you can talk to, or starting to incorporate some healthier coping mechanisms that you can utilize, because we all need coping mechanisms. We all need it. There's always going to be things in life that happens, and it's like we all need this like reliable set of coping mechanisms, healthy coping mechanisms that we can use when we're feeling stressed or when things happen, because it's inevitable that things will happen, and that's the like healthy and sustainable way of doing it. Because I feel like whatever it is that you're doing isn't sustainable, and I also don't feel like that you want to be doing that forever. And that you do want change, and that change starts with you, and you're more than capable of getting there. Starting is the hardest part, but you're a lot more powerful than you think, and I see you creating really big change. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but I see you creating like massive shifts and changes in your life once you start working on healing and breaking this cycle. Like I let's just pull those cards now, because I want to see. So these cards are going to represent the outcome, or like what you can expect after breaking this cycle. Actually, let me really quickly rearrange these cards so everything fits. Okay, so the outcome, or what you can expect. We have the King of Wands. Yeah. We have the Moon. And we also have the Three of Wands. Okay. This is exactly what I was talking about. I love that we have the King of Wands coming out first, because to me, I've always looked at the King of Wands as like a mini version of the Emperor. To me, the King of Wands is the Emperor of the minor arcana. So it's like on the other side of this is you stepping into your fullest power, into your fullest potential, and seeing the light in yourself and seeing how capable you are, and that you've been capable all along. It just took some time for you to see it clearly with the moon here. I see you being more in touch with your emotions, being more curious than afraid about exploring them. I see you not... Okay. So we started off with the devil, and the devil can represent our shadow aspects. And the moon can represent that as well. But the difference here is that it's almost like before the shadow was being repressed, it was being suppressed, it was being maybe judged or criticized or made to feel that it was a very bad thing. Whereas here with the moon, this is much more compassionate. This is much more forgiving, much more gentle and nurturing and accepting, I want to say. So it's like you'll get to this stage where your shadow's no longer your enemy. Did I say that at the beginning, that you're not your enemy? Or was that another group? Shit, I don't remember. But you're gonna get to this point where it's like your shadow isn't your enemy, and it's like you're gonna befriend your shadow, you're gonna integrate your shadow, you're gonna be more open to it, more open to exploring that side of you. And with the Three of Wands, it's like, this is what I'm saying, it's like you've made so much progress that like you're literally gonna look back and be like, wow, I kind of can't believe that I got this far. The Three of Wands is super, super expansive, really adventurous in the sense of feeling brave enough to step outside your comfort zone and maybe going into uncharted territory or unexplored territory, but not feeling afraid, of feeling really empowered here with the King of Wands. I really love this. I also want to say that I see you having a lot more energy. Like with these three cards, like the energy is totally different. This is like a complete shift in energy. Like vitality, vibrance, feeling bright, feeling motivated, inspired, creative, having visions for yourself in the future that you never even considered before because you didn't think it was possible. But it's like now it's you see how strong you are. You're a friggin' badass warrior, and it's like, well shit, if I can do that, I can fucking do anything. And it's like nothing's gonna hold you back. Fear isn't gonna hold you back anymore in the same way that it used to, or control you in the same way that it used to. Rather than being afraid of the monster that's under the bed or in your closet, is like poking your head down there and befriending them. That's like really the energy that I'm getting. Let's grab 2 more cards for you. Spirit guides, please. Pile number 3. What is the outcome, or what can pile 3 expect after breaking this karmic cycle, please? Okay, so we have the Two of Pentacles and the High Priestess coming out, which both of these cards have been coming out a fair amount in these readings today. So Two of Pentacles, High Priestess. Yeah, so we had the Magician before, and now we have the High Priestess like I was talking about. And we have the Seven of Pentacles underneath the deck. So twos are all about balance, harmony, and duality, partnerships, things like that. Could also talk about making decisions. Yeah, there's a lot about like the subconscious mind here. I'm gonna pull one more card for that. Spirit guides, why is the High Priestess and the Moon here for pile 3? Why is the High Priestess and the Moon here for the outcome after breaking this cycle? Okay. So we have the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Swords on the back of the deck. Okay, this is starting to make a bit more sense. So we have double 2s and double 7s. So both of those could be signs that you see, like synchronicities that you see. 22 or 222 is an angel number that represents being on the right track, being in alignment. And sevens are very spiritual numbers. They hold a lot of wisdom and information. And it's kind of like when we had the tower coming out before, where there's a lot of it's like literally you'll be in a position where you will no longer be confused about like what you're feeling or how to deal with it. You have this newfound clarity, all this wisdom that you've gained through this process is going to bring you so much. It's really refined your discernment is what it is. And you will no longer feel disillusioned. You will no longer feel tempted is what I want to say. It's like feel tempted to stay on the path that you once were. I think that you're going to feel surprised about how much you actually enjoy this sense of freedom that you have now, this sense of liberation and this sense of empowerment, that it's like you're closing the door on this. But with the Two of Pentacles and the High Priestess here, I see, and with the Moon as well, it's just like feeling much more balanced in your emotions, or just feeling much more balanced on like a deeper level, that you don't feel that chaos within you. You don't feel the need to like use things to try to compensate for the fact that you're feeling so chaotic. I see this really just harmonizing and balancing things out. Okay, so I'm feeling a lot of energy like in my crown chakra. And I kind of noticed before, I was really focused on the Emperor and the Queen of Wands, how they're both wearing crowns. And then we also have the King of Wands with the crown, and we have the High Priestess here as well. Which I think is part of where this discernment will be coming in, is because you'll be in a much clearer frame of mind to be able to use your intuition and discern information, or discern situations, discern people, because you'll have a clearer channel to receive by way of no longer using vices or unhealthy coping mechanisms that in the past would have really clouded your judgment or clouded the situation, as we see here with the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Swords. And it's like there's almost this energy with the High Priestess here of like, try me, just try me. Like you don't even know, you don't know what I've been through, you don't know what I can handle, you don't know how fucking powerful I am now. It's like, I don't know why, but this High Priestess is almost coming off like intimidating, but in a really good way, of like, I don't think people are gonna try you anymore. People aren't gonna try to, I don't know, take advantage of you or try to push your buttons because they know they can trigger you in some way. I think people are gonna see this version of you that you've transformed and alchemized into with the Death card, and they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna get away with the same shit that I might have gotten away with before with pile 3. And I also see you just turning your back on a lot of like people, situations, places that kind of kept you stuck in this energy or made you feel like you were stuck in this energy. So, you know, if like you're in an unhealthy relationship or in a toxic work environment or something like that, it's like I see you leaving that behind and pursuing something that actually like benefits you and something that lifts you up and makes you feel good, and not settle for things that drain you or reflect your triggers or your shadow, because you've taken the effort to work on those things, right? So that's really what I see for you. Let's look at, with these two oracle cards here, what you should be focusing on. So I'm actually going to move this deck to the side. Okay, look at that, prosperity. The frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. Okay, and we also have Cosmic Flower. The frequency of Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. So I feel like you're being called to focus on your true essence, which it was kind of like when we were talking about how you may feel that like your light is gone or your light is dampened, when it really hasn't. It's just been obscured by your shadow taking the forefront. But it's like reconnecting to who you are, reconnecting to the core of who you are, and starting to share that with the world, this side of you that maybe people have never seen before. And listen, don't get me wrong, everybody has a light side and a shadow side. It exists within everyone. And I feel like for you, maybe the shadow has kind of been at the forefront for so long that maybe that's why you may have felt that like, I don't know who I am without this, or I don't even know. It's almost like maybe your identity being wrapped around kind of these shadow aspects. So it's like reconnecting with who you are on a really deep level here with the High Priestess and the Moon, of really getting to know yourself like outside of these vices or addictions or ways of being, lifestyles. And you're also being called to focus on your material world with prosperity here. So this could be about like a job situation and making money. But I also see this as just kind of in a general sense, focusing on your material world. So focusing on your physical environment, focusing on what kind of people you're interacting with, the kind of food that you're eating, the kind of TV or social media messages that you're consuming, how you're taking care of your body and your physical health as well is something that I'm getting. Yeah, it's coming back again to grounding. Grounding will be really, really helpful for you. So spending time in nature, taking a bath, doing yoga, meditating, earthing, gardening. Feel free to do research and just see what really resonates with you. But I love all of this color, in these cards. It's just like, I said this in another group, but it's like bringing more color and vibrancy back to life. And now they're showing me, I don't know if you've ever read the book or watched the movie called The Giver, but it's basically all in black and white, and like they're like not allowed to see color and things like that. And then at the end, Jonas, like, basically he brings back color, and it's this like whole thing. And that's almost what I'm seeing for you. It's like life that may have once felt gray is now coming into bloom, and this like color is being brought back into your life. So it's also just like finding ways to incorporate joy into your life, finding small things that brighten up your day or that make you happy, but that genuinely make you happy on a deep level, not just instant gratification or instant gratification. It's about creating this real sense of satisfaction and fulfillment that is long lasting, something that can actually sustain you beyond whatever you have been gratifying yourself with, like we talked about at the beginning. So let's grab some advice for you. First, we have Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. Yeah. And as well, we have the Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. Yes, exactly. It's like bringing your shadow to the surface, bringing your shadow to the light, but in a different way than what you've been doing. And it's like seeing the potential in yourself with the King of Wands here, because it's like, I feel like you feel like one of these people here on the devil cards who's trapped, who's chained, who's restricted and tied down. And it's like to no longer view yourself in that way, and to start viewing yourself as the King of Wands, as the Queen of Wands, as the Emperor, as the Magician, as the High Priestess. Because that is you, and you're starting to bring that into the light. And again, this is what I was saying before, like, you're being so looked after, so protected. There's a community of people out there who really want to help you, and they're people that you can trust. And you're also being looked after in the spiritual realm. If you resonate with being a star seed, then your star family has been there with you, trying to help you and guide you through this. But there's such a strong, like, yeah, there's like a really strong masculine energy, like a protective energy coming through. So this could even be someone who has passed on to the other side. If you have like a father, a brother, an uncle, a friend, even something like that, even a pet who's passed on, they're really, really trying to help you. They're protecting you in every way that they can and supporting you. And if you feel called to, you can reach out to them and ask them for help, ask them for more help, or ask them to guide you. Our last two cards that we're going to take a look at are some healing advice for you. So we have Connect with Fire, which I'm not that surprised with all of these Wands cards that we have here. Fire is very significant here. And we also have Sync with the Moon. And look at that. Yeah. So Connect with Fire, this could be, I don't know if you've ever done candle gazing, but it's just like you sit in a dark room and you light a candle and you kind of have the candle at like eye level, and focusing on the flame can be really kind of hypnotic and grounding and calming. This could also be like having a bonfire with friends. This could be a burning bowl ritual where you write down things you want to let go of and you burn those pieces of paper. Whatever it is, of course, be careful. We don't want any accidents to happen when using fire. But this is really symbolic because fire represents rebirth and transformation. It's literally the process of alchemy, like we have with the Death card and the Magician, of the form that was put into it is not what comes out on the other end. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And some things have to be burnt down or fall away, like we see with the Tower, in order for a stronger foundation to be built, in order for something new to emerge out of the ashes, right? And you're also being called to sync with the moon. So if you don't already follow the lunar cycle or the phases of the moon, you're really being encouraged to do so. I think it's extra significant because we literally have the Moon card and the High Priestess here. So every month I always upload new moon and full moon readings. If you haven't seen them before, this could be your sign to maybe start watching those, or if you find other lunar cycle readings that you're interested in watching, you're being encouraged to do that. So this could be forming like little rituals around different phases of the moon. So during the full moons is when we release and surrender and let go of what's not working, of what's not serving us anymore. And during the new moon is when we have the space to manifest and bring in something new for ourselves. So you're being encouraged to sync with the moon. And I also see this as like paying more attention to your emotions with all of this water energy we have going on. The moon is the ruling planet for Cancer, which is the mother. It represents the mother. It's maternal energy. So it's just like really nurturing and taking care of yourself, but especially your emotional state too. So pile 3, that's everything that I'm seeing for you. Let me know in the comments how this resonated. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching, and hit the post notification bell so you never miss out on when I upload a video. I love you so, so much. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!